Georgie here, Cosmic Heart Space. How are you all doing? So I'm just going to be doing a live tonight. Hey! Hello, I've just started. I've only just pressed the button on. So we're just going to be like having a bit of a chat. Hey. Can't remember, I've already forgotten how you do the little wave thing on here. Oh, it usually comes up, doesn't it? But it hasn't. But hello. Hi, a little wave came up for you. So yeah, I'm just gonna chat, ask any questions if people have like maybe some questions that they'd like to ask. I think we'll just, you know, I think it'd be really nice to just, really, if we could all just drop into our heart space, just really sit with our hearts. Bring that attention, that conscious awareness to the breath. Just be completely present. With our bodies, where we are, where we're sitting, are we standing, are we walking. Just notice the sounds that are outside of you. All of the awareness around. And then bringing it in to the sounds of your breath. And just focus there. Focus on the heartbeat. So, for anybody that's been looking at my emails and my messaging, I've been emailing nearly every day. And I'm going to continue. If people are happy for that, then, you know, subscribe or not. It's totally down to you. Maybe I'll do at least 3 times a week at the moment, at least. Just to really share and be in community, like something that's really just been a light bulb switch for me recently, and something that's been really apparent actually in my whole life, and my theme of my life is being very introverted, which isn't always a bad thing. You know, I am a natural hermit, and but because of this lockdown situation, it actually, I think it became quite unhealthy. My natural ability to be on my own became actually then when I came to be around other people and hanging out with other people. So, are we in a shift of energy nowadays? Yeah, definitely. We're always shifting. Always shifting. I think that's a constant thing, isn't it? I mean, we talk a lot about the different energy that's going on, but it's always happening, isn't it? Yeah. So, yeah, I think we're just coming into a space where, everything is either locking down or opening up, to depending where you are, like physically in this sort of reality that we're living in. Or we're finding that how do we integrate that, and how do our personalities that we've been accustomed to in our social dynamic, how does that change? And it does evolve and it moves, and then with everything that's actually going on energetically, like you say, that there's an energy shift going on right now. We are really seeing that, and as everything is energy, everything is changing. So I think it's time that we just start to create communities where we can create community. Where can we actually gather with people that we do resonate with and that are like-minded? And I think that's obviously on this platform at the moment. And if anyone goes back to where the Facebook and the Instagram went down, it became so apparent. Like there are people that I like literally just speak to on here, you know, and I suddenly couldn't speak to them, and I hadn't quite made a connection with them in any other way, and that really like made me think about, God, there'll be people, like, I actually value these people. I really value these people, really like them. I want them in my life, you know, even though it might not be in this life in this way, because we live, you know, maybe across the world, or we live you know, even in different parts of this country. I felt really like saddened by that potential, that it could just suddenly go just like that. You know, it was so easy. So hence why I've been doing a lot of emails. If you guys do that, then and please do join me on there, because, you know, that way I don't really see that part of the internet or whatever, like, necessarily with going down as much, and we can still connect. So thank you. I can feel something is big is coming. Yeah. Well, like, for those who are astrologers, they really do share some really interesting information about October and November, and so and going on. And I think we've been noticing it keeps on. There's these waves and waves. Something big's happening. And there are just lots of big things happening, and it's actually something that's happening within us, isn't it? We're shifting and we're changing who we are, and that's something that I've been doing personally, just really shifting, really changing my perception on my reality, how I'm actually being here in the world. How am I going to step forward and actually share in this world, behave in this world? How do I want to be in service and assist everybody? It's to be in the community. It's to be a part of this together and join together. So yeah, I've also found that being not just as a community, but also something that I wanted to also talk about was this, like, name change that I've been going through. And it's not just been like a one kind of overnight decision, but it's been more of a fact that I've found that because of the introvert behaviours that I was demonstrating, and the hermit that I had, even in numerology, you know, it's all seen through my chart. How was I going to shift that? How was I going to kind of work through that? You know, I know that a part of my chart, you can see, oh, there's loads of things that I could really do and assist people. You know, I can see that there's that healer potential and all of this, but yet the hermit was there. So it was this conflicting energies that was playing out. So I've created almost like an overlay, so that energy, that aspect of myself isn't gone. I'm not just going, Georgia Polden is no more, but I've also added Georgie Dragonfly. So the dragonfly, because people do call me Georgie, you know, like my friends, my family, you know, my mum. So it's not like unusual, but just the last name has given me flight, it's given me wings, and my spirit animal totem is a dragonfly. So it feels really close to home to bring that energy and show my devotion to my spiritual devotion to the spirit work that I do. So yeah, thank you. So what do you think that is big? What do you think is coming that's big energetically? I'd love to know. I'd love to hear more about that from your perspective. What are you feeling? Because I was also going to speak about light language tonight as well. If anybody was interested in, asking any questions about like my perspective on that, and maybe if people want to know if they like any help with bringing that forward. Your sound is always opening my heart. I can feel your energy directly. Oh, thank you. Oh, good. Yeah, I'm just coming in here quite relaxed, really. It's quite a casual live. I feel like I haven't really done one in a while, but it probably has been a few weeks at least. I feel like new huge doors are opening and miracles can be seen more. Yeah, so that's really interesting, isn't it? Because if you think about the doors, and it's like, yeah, are we opening up to that newer timeline, that timeline that's enabling us to move into that new earth experience for ourselves? Are we opening the door to that life and that opportunity for ourselves? And yeah, it's so interesting you say about miracles, because I've been really reflecting on the magic and how we're all so magical and we have magical abilities, and yet it all seems so like, I don't know if people take offense to the word mundane, but it's like this mundane reality that we're sort of living in. It's almost like all the fairies, the witches, the warlocks are all like sort of sleeping, and they have no idea that it's all that's what they are, and that there just needs to be that kind of like shake up so that they can remember their energy, remember who they are and themselves. And yeah, so I feel like what you're saying there really reflects on that, actually, because I can totally feel you on that one. Maybe people will start noticing like some natural abilities that they'll have, and they'll just kind of start finding their way. Hello. So yeah, if anyone wants to ask any questions, maybe specifically about light language or anything, anything like spiritually minded or heart based. So like one thing that's really feels like something I'd love to create more of a transition for everybody, but I don't know. Maybe I'd love to hear other people's views about it, because we use the word light language, but for some, and for many, I think, even who still use the word light language, it doesn't really resonate to call it light language. It's more multifaceted than to call it light. It is I suppose it's a frequency language. It's a vibrational language, because it's vibrational, isn't it? And then you've got the heart, and it's like calling it the heart language, and it's like it's coming from our heart, isn't it? But then spoken word, even in English, I think can also be heart language, because of the vibration that's emanating from that person. Like you just said to me about that you felt the heart, and I haven't even spoken any light language, and you can feel like a heart resonance. So that's kind of open to interpretation. But we know that there's lots of different dialect we speak about, of like different star beings and so forth. So do they all speak light language? Are they just light? Are they only pure light? Maybe they're not necessarily physical matter, but that doesn't necessarily mean what darkness is. Like I've been really sitting with, what does darkness mean and what darkness is, because like everything that I see fear playing out in, I always like to observe it and see why is there fear in that? Is there something actually that we can learn from it, and something that would actually be quite nourishing and supportive on our journey? So for example, I was actually just speaking to a friend about this, about I can't remember actually what they were saying, but then I mentioned, because this really sticks out in my mind, because a light bulb moment really went off, and I was like, light, the word like 666 is actually numerology, and I saw this from, if you ever look up Adam Apollo on YouTube, he has a really good lecture about unified quantum physics, and he talks about sacred geometry and how, and numerology, and how the pineal glands oh my gosh numerology numbers are 666. I thought that was really fascinating, that we fear that number, and yet it's actually linked to our pineal gland. And then we've got stuff, so like going back to the darkness, is that, you know, I really, when I connect into like the mother energy and the womb and that rebirth, the void and all of that, it's dark, you can't see, there's not like loads of visionary stuff necessarily, it's all about but actually you're really deeply held in that space, and you feel so supported and completely, you know, in that mothering womb energy, you know, if does that make sense? So I'm going to just read some of your stuff that you've written. Higher vibrations reach more people currently. People start to wake. Yeah. So like what we do within our own frequency, if we allow that to just emanate and just be in the space of love, then that does assist and help others as well, doesn't it? So I can feel your light language. Sometimes I wonder, how can we understand the meaning of the words? Yeah. So I think like the meaning of them is the vibrational resonance, so the feeling and the sensation. So I have, at times, I will be speaking light language, but I'll be getting messages at the same time that I understand from like English. You know, they'll it's almost like they're telling me, but I'm speaking it, but in another language. So it's like the vibration is coming out into this existence. It's almost like making that a reality, and I'm being told and given that information. So in that sense, you can, and I think there are people that definitely do or are capable of translating, but not everything. I don't feel or know anybody that can completely translate the information, because it's so multidimensional. There's so much in there that we can kind of get snippets for, so that we get like a kind of an understanding, so it gives us something. But then there's other stuff going on which maybe we don't even have words for, because of the vibration that it is, it doesn't have tangible or translatable language. I mean, if you look at even some of the languages that we have here on this earth, sometimes words, they still don't translate into like English or other languages, and they sort of say, like say like a mantra, for instance, it'll be like, well, it kind of means this. So like when we look at Sanskrit, I feel that that's like a light language, because I know that there's sometimes Sanskrit sounds come through my mouth along with other sounds that are not, you know, necessarily with that, and I think that it's all light language. It's still all pure loving energy that comes through. So yeah, as long as it's pure love, it's pure love. That's what I always have, and I spent a long time just really like focusing in on the pure love. So it's like the purity of the vibrational essence that I'm really focusing on, and then that's the energy that's coming through the sound and the dialect. You know, I have experienced light language that I haven't really felt like a resonance to, and sometimes it sounds the same. They've sounded like words that even I've said, but yet the vibration seems different, and I don't know why, but I have sat with it, and what I could only say as a perception from my experience, and I'm not saying it's the definite, is that this could be just because because we are channels, so it's whatever's coming through the filter. So as long as we work through our filter, and that we haven't got an ego agenda when we're emanating that, it can actually maybe be manipulated in some ways through our filter, so it doesn't sound of the energy of which it may be in its totality from where it's coming from, or either there are other energies out there, hello, that are coming through that, you know, might seem as light, because we've spoken about, haven't we, before, about false light, and that it's not that it's not light, it's just that light is a spectrum of, and that also, you know, and consciousness is a spectrum. So although we try and obtain sometimes like the highest vibration or the lightest of light, but I don't, from my own perception, is that can actually be leading us to something that's equally as toxic. Hence why I don't really like the word light language anymore. And actually I was like, oh, that doesn't really make sense, but calling it light language doesn't give it this sort of definition that everyone perceives it as being. I'm not saying everyone, that I want to reword that, because that's not necessarily how everyone feels, but it's the fact that we are opening up as a channel for really energy, and what we want to do is just really sit in our heart space, so that we're and letting the ego aside. We're not there to just try and get something to feel powerful or important or anything like that. We're doing it because it's about feeling good for ourselves and others, and healing and assisting humanity raise their consciousness. So when we attain that kind of energy, it's that's what's actually really flowing through us. Can you feel the meaning of the light language, or it flows suddenly? Do you feel the meaning of the light language as it flows? I think that could be, that could be open to various different things. Hello. Because, let me sit with that, because can you feel the meaning of the light language, or if it flows suddenly? So that's interesting. How does that sit with me? That's like, I'm trying to like understand that a little bit. I think flow suddenly, the light language flow suddenly, or the message of what the light language is that what you mean? So light language, can you mean, I think sometimes the meaning can happen as the same time as the light language is coming through. So it's as it's speaking, as the light language coming through the mouth, I'm telepathically getting English language coming through my mind. Or it will happen where I might get some information afterwards if I sit with it and go, right, what's going on? Like, what was that? What did that mean? Can I have some information on that, please? And I suppose then also another alternative, I suppose, I could be having like a conversation with someone, and then suddenly it's like, oh, we need to drop off a transmission in light language now. So then it will change, and I will go into light language, and then I will then shift back into speaking English again, and maybe interpret it, or maybe continue the conversation, because they coincide together, they work together. So whatever I was saying was also a part of the light transmission as well. The transmission. Cool little smiley face. So if you just turned up, just share if you want to ask a question about light language, or if you have any information yourself, any perceptions or thoughts or feelings about the light language. Share as well. I'd love to I will read them out, and and we can share our perspectives. I think it's something so beautiful that we can all do in enabling that unity consciousness, is hearing everyone's perspective and acknowledging it and just being present with it, and not needing to tell people this is what it is and this is it, so you got to believe it too. It's kind of like, no, it's like, I'll tell you mine, you tell me yours, and then we'll kind of like, oh, that's cool, okay, yeah, mine's different, and that's okay. So I'm just sharing mine, but in no way am I saying that this is the definite, because there's so many perspectives out there, and that's beautiful. Okay. Oh, sometimes energy gives us peace. Sometimes opens our heart. How we know what it is about. Thank you for all your answers. Did you feel your energy no, thank you for your questions. Did you feel your energy expansive when you received the light language? Like a balloon. I get a bit, sometimes I can get quite spinny, and I will feel my body starting to move and sway as the energy starts to really pick up. It's almost like a vortex, my body starts to become a bit of a vortex. And then it kind of like, so because it's the energy, isn't it? It's that kind of kundalini energy moving and spiraling, and I start to feel that, and it definitely feels like it definitely does feel like bigger sometimes. I suppose and it can depend on the aspect that's also coming in or that's working with me, because it depends what their energy's like as well. Because if they're like kind of like almost like up and a more flying kind of beings, I might sort of start to feel that kind of energy, almost like a flighty energy, as if I'm kind of flying around the earth. Or I might feel very earthly, and I start to feel as if I'm sinking into the earth, and not in a horrible way. I mean, I just start to feel really like how do I even describe it? It's like such experiential sort of experience, but it's almost like, imagine being the tree and the roots, and you can really feel those roots going into the earth and spreading out, and then you become, or being a very large rock, or the mountain. Oh, mountains. I mean, I've actually experienced mountain consciousness, and that, you feel like a mountain. So yeah, I feel like a balloon, I feel like a mountain sometimes. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Let's go back. I see one. And does that answer? Does that sound cool? Does that happen for you? Did you say Rebecca? Is your name Rebecca? Does that happen for you? Do you feel like when you expand, if you speak light language? And remember, we also work with light language in so many different ways, don't we? Like we expand with it in terms of either writing or dancing, hand movements, and through the vocals, and just our presence. So just being, we're already emanating codes, information, energy. So I'll read this now. I had a dream where I was following an upward maybe beam of light, that looks like, going from green to silver at a purple side. I saw my grandmother being dropped. Whoa. Wow, where was this? So this is obviously in a dream, but did it have any relevance to you where you were? Wow. So was this like a beam of light that you were going to a different dimension, a different realm. Is it like a spacecraft? That sounds very cool. From green to silver to purple. Yeah. And your grandmother was there. So that's really beautiful. And we receive a lot through dreams, don't we? I've even spoken in like light language or tonings and stuff like that in my dreams, and it's just like woke me up. I had this dream where I was in this, like, I was a Buddhist monk and I was in this monastery, and there was, and it was almost like, so you got like the corridors and stuff where it's all sheltered, but then there were these open parts in the center, and then this center part, you know, it was actually open up to the light, and the light would come in through that way. And then on the floor there was this bird that had died, and I was, you know, I went to this bird and I sung to it, and I was singing and singing and singing, and I brought this bird back to life. That really stuck with me. I was like, wow. And I have a really big thing about that, because I've got a cat that obviously, you know, does his cat things, and I always, you know, if anything is kind of still hanging around, then I always give it like a ceremony and stuff like that. So I think that I was having this dream because there was sort of this feeling of, I wish that, you know, was I playing a part in him being there, and was that my part in his, you know, in kind of the depletion of the birds in our area. There's not a depletion at all. We've got a lot of birds, but sorry, I just missed that you had some messages. Oops. Like a balloon. Oh no. Oh, what am I doing? I can just see the word root. Maybe that is the last message, is it? Oh no, there's more. Yeah, I feel expansive, and sometimes I feel roots. I have so much access in dreams. I like symbols and codes, blue neon and pink neon. Wow. In sky. Oh, sorry, I'm still trying to like scroll this thing. Not ever gonna get used to this. In the sky with spaceships in the night sky. Oh, do you get visitations? Awesome. I've never seen spaceships, I think, in my dream, although I've had dreams of like just being already on them. So it's like, and it's very medical when I've been in those sorts of places, and it's like you go for like kind of fixing that kind of dream. And like I used to get a lot of pregnancy dreams and stuff like that as well. So yeah, yes, that is a mountain from my city in Mexico, where they have a big Santo Cristo statue, and is only a couple miles from where my grandmother is living. Wow, amazing. So you actually, you know, it's like you did travel there at night in dream time and actually experience that. Because we miss the acknowledgement of dreams, don't we? That actually dreams, I mean, I think some dreams I really like, I hope that wasn't some kind of parallel universe. However, I do feel that there are dreams where stuff happens for a reason, you know, and we are sometimes seeing things that we're doing through like astral traveling and experiencing in that way. Yeah, let's see this other one. Maybe I should share my story so you can understand my questions. At nights, I wake up suddenly and I am sleeping myself. I am seeing myself talking light language, dyslexia. But I don't know what is the message. Oh, okay, I see. So You're talking at night in the light language, but when you wake up, you're not sure what it meant. So do you ever think about like just getting up in the morning, like, and journaling, and then just seeing if any kind of light language comes through, or like sitting back in meditation in the morning and just see if any sounds want to come through. You can start with mantra or just omming or bringing other tones and vibrations through, and then something else will start to activate, because maybe you're activating yourself in your sleep, so that you just need to then, when you wake up, you're just kind of there for that, so that you can experience it when you wake up. You'll start to then get used to it, or something like that. I'm feeling it's like you're activating yourself in your sleep. Hello. See a few more people coming in now. I don't know how. I'm pressing the little hellos, by the way, but it's not working. Hey Sarah. Hello. So I'm like, yeah, trying to say hello to you all, but a few buttons. So yeah, we're just talking about light language, everybody who's just joined. So it's a real casual conversation, just about, maybe if you want to share your journey, I'll read it out. If it's not like a whole, chapter. And then if you've got any like questions about them, and anything you'd like to ask me about light language, then I'm happy to answer. Yeah. So Sarah says she's had 3 UFO events this week. Okay, that's awesome. That's phenomenal. Would you like to share at least one of them? Is this dream time in real life? I had a really funny scenario actually with a UFO, where I'd gone for a walk where I live. I walked through this alleyway to get to like this train station bit, and just as I was walking through there were these guys. They were like doing this, making this driveway, and this guy starts going, "There's a UFO! There's a UFO!" I was like, looked up, and there was like this thing like floating in the air, but it was actually a balloon. But I just thought it was so interesting that he was kind of, saying about it being a UFO. So Codes, they want to talk to you. Yeah, were you saying to Sarah that they obviously want to talk to Sarah? Yeah. They're obviously they're surrounding you. They're obviously looking out for what you're doing and what you're up to, aren't they? I do believe that, they're always there with us, and, even when we look at the idea of like the UFOs, but we can also this whole is really interconnected, isn't it, with light language, because that part of light language is like really is honing in that multidimensional connection. It's like having a little antenna from the heart to connect with all of the guys that are in their little spaceships. Hello. So yeah, has anyone any questions or any experiences? It'd be so good to just like, hear what everybody else feels about it. At the very beginning, I was asking about what would you call light language yourself? Like, do you resonate with the word, with the name as well? I have a friend who, when I met her, she was doing all the light language stuff, all the breath and the very stuff, and she sings. I mean, she has the cutest little. Her voice is so wonderful. Her light language is just. But when I said to her, I was like, "Oh, you speak light language as well," when we first met, and she was like, "What is that?" She'd just been doing it. She'd just been living that and doing that herself, and so yeah, nobody actually. Some people, don't actually associate with it at all. They're just experiencing, which is so beautiful. And she's very off grid, very hippie. She's done some really cool journeys in her life, travelled the world, and I think she just was so in her innate natural state of being that she was just expressing from that space without even labelling it. And I really, really found that so humbling and beautiful, and I just loved that. I really did. Right, I'm going to read Sarah's story out, or I'll read Rebecca's. Here in Brazil, the light language is not so accessed yet. So there's not as many people really speaking it, maybe. Because I've seen some people, I follow a few people that are living in Brazil and stuff, and around Spain and things like that, and they all seem to be doing it. But do you mean maybe like the density and the levels, like if you've got a lot of stuff going on, it can be hard to kind of congregate and meet lots of people in person that are doing that? Because again, I feel really lucky that I have met some of the people that I've met. I mean, even around Kent, I've got a nice little tribe of mates that do speak light language or within that circle. Right, so we've got Sarah's story. I like this. So it's hard to explain quickly, but one, seeing massive ships in the sky with eyes closed but very detailed. Two, dancing lights in the sky. It was seen by others and messes up my phone. Oh, that's so interesting. Red light and lines in the pic. Oh, that's really cool. Have you shared that on social? You should definitely share that after head over to your page. I felt like that when you my reading. I feel like that when you raise the frequency, energy, these codes come from the heart. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we feel that. So, yeah, no, that's really interesting. No, I know what you mean. But there are lots of spaceships. I actually find sometimes I get just like, yeah, it's like the lights, but it's like the stars seem to, the way they sit outside my window at night, and I'm like, you watching me? Feels like you're watching me. Gets that vibe. Yeah, the more people that gather, I think, even on these social platforms and things like that, you'll be able to find people that are also in your area and in your countries and stuff like that are, and then you can kind of then bring in that community and make specific communities to even hold space for that. So then you can actually create maybe in-person meetups. Like that would be really awesome if we could kind of start getting more in-person meetups around the world with people that are in this kind of space. Because so many of us, like if anybody read my story at the beginning of the week, and I was talking about being extremely introverted and having trouble really communicating and feeling together with others, it was because like I actually struggled, like I struggled to feel fit in because there wasn't anybody else around me. And even where I live in my immediate town, there isn't anybody that actually really resonates with me. And it's like I've had to spread out and go on a search, on a mission for that. And I suppose where our frequency rises, we do sense each other and notice each other. So yeah, you got Sarasa. Yeah, it's on my reel. Cool. My phone's video but vanished and I couldn't record. That's really interesting. They often mess up electrical items, especially phones. Yeah. Oh, did anyone see? I posted something actually funny enough where I was recording this. I was reworking this Caduceus healing modality art piece that I'd been making, and I thought I'm gonna record a bit, and with the telescope like photo thing on here on the Instagram. So I was playing with it and moving it around, and I started to do a little bit of breath work and bring in a little mini transmission with it. But what happened was is when I played it back, there was all of this little sounds, like this little kind of alien being was also coming through and speaking at the same time as me. I was like, whoa, that's weird. And I've had that when being on the phone, and actually I'll be speaking to people specifically, usually it's in alignment with something spiritual, and then something like that happens. So it was really funny to actually get it recorded. So what was Naz gonna say? So I do not know English. I'm writing with the help of Google Translate now. I don't understand what you're saying, but I'm watching. I'm sure my heart understands. Oh, that's really beautiful. And you know what? It is about our heart resonance, isn't it? And what we feel. I wonder if maybe I could try and, I just want to send you a heart so you know that I'm totally feeling that. Yeah. Kulamash no kumbra dialadash no kut andash ayamuk umbubush. Yashnihi biambabombo ishna ay kilale undabomboshni. Yeah, it's really interesting because our heart does share the energy. So yeah, if we can't understand each other's actual languages, this is what light language is doing. It's unifying us because we're feeling each other and starting. It's an enabler to enable more telepathic communication as well, because we're all telepathic, and yet we've been so accustomed to writing and speaking and communication. So you know, it's really a beautiful transition, this light language. So lovely to just sit and be with you. Yay! Yeah, it is, isn't it? I love it. It's good. And so I will actually say, but that reminds me when you're saying that, of something that I've really been meaning to do, and I really want to do it. And that is start doing some Zoom sessions, because I want to be more in like this kind of group, but actually see people's faces as well. Like, there's a bit more to it, because it's really nice to get this engagement, get this kind of like good chat going, see where everyone's at. It's really nice to just have good conversation and speak about stuff that we're all like in resonance with, and that we're all wanting to talk about. We're some of who we could spend a whole day potentially not talking to anybody about these things if we haven't got anyone around us that's on this path. So it's super nice to sit here and do that together. So yeah, I'm gonna be sending a little email out, and definitely you know, a little post on here, and I'll let you know. I'm going to start off with like a donation based Zoom session, and it'll be more healing modalities and light language based, with the option for us like to share and have a conversation as well about what we've experienced, because I think that's really nice and reflective of what we're experiencing, of the energies. Ah, that's really beautiful. You're sharing. I love that. See, look, and what I really love in these groups is that you guys all become really cool friends and really get on, and I just love that. There was one, and we was all sitting, I was sitting at the tree, and we're all having this like amazing conversation. I was bringing this transmission through and in light language, and you guys were all sharing these beautiful like wisdom like comments, and I was just like, whoa, like this is incredible, this is amazing. I think I screenshotted a few of them, and I need to like rework them or something to share them out, like put them into little posts or something, and tag the people who said them, because it was absolutely just such a beautiful transmission. You could probably go back and find it, because I did say it out loud, and it's on YouTube. What was it called? Oh yeah, it was the one about me and sharing codes with Russell Brand. I mean, that was a whole weird, crazy journey. Oh, see, that's beautiful. You guys are sharing a little hello. Yay. So, how's everyone doing? Do you guys feel like you've got anything else that you'd like to share? Feel free to just like share a little bit or something in the comments. Yeah, should we just share a little? Yeah, let's share the energy. Let's share the energy. Let's bring a bit of a little, I'll bring a little guided transmission through. And if everyone else wants to do that in your own space, in your own, however you do that, and we'll just visualize that in this space, we're all connected in. So if you see in your heart, and just see the energy from your heart, like all tying together all around the world, and we're all connecting up together. And then the light is all spreading out, the rainbows, the colours, the frequencies, and the songs are all moving out from our hearts, and they're all being shared between each other with love. So your energy and your voice are magic. I want to thank you. Well, I want to thank you too, because like you've been here from the beginning, listening to me chatting on, and you've shared some beautiful questions that have enabled me to share some information. Been struggling to get my words out a little bit today. I feel a bit extra lispy, but just rolling with it, exactly, you know. So yeah, let's share the love. Let's share the love together if it resonates. So just like, you know, let your hands lay where you want to lay them, on your heart, facing up on your knees, or you could, even if you feel like you like to move your hands around and stuff, you know, you do what resonates with you. And definitely connect with your breath. Sometimes I like to just like move and wiggle my feet around so I can feel the bottom of my feet, just so I feel nice and grounded. And we feel the energy just moving through our bodies. And again, that heart energy, like I said, you interpret it and feel it how you want to, because I think it's always important you go with your own intuition first and foremost. But yeah, if you want a guide, if you want like something to visualize specifically, then I just see this beautiful rainbow energy moving out from my heart and spreading out through into all of your hearts too, so that they're receiving of that pure love, connected in an infinite flow of joy and bliss. Yeshnam dodum dash. Nawash namash nuk undash. Dilalashna maukutoshna. Ninanash nihinash 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 nurush. Irash nakarash nu urokush. Irakash. Merash na irash. Urash. Kurash. Thank you everybody, so much love to you all. Hope you're all having a beautiful day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Just keep shining your hearts, emanating your love, and allow it to reflect back to you. May you receive this love tenfold. And yeah, I really appreciate anybody that feels really called just to join in on the mailing list, because I'm just getting this real weird vibe about what's to come in our future, and you know, I want to be connected to all of you loves, because, you know, we're building a community of divine love. Hey, beautiful. Yeah, I'm just wrapping up, my darling, but I'll definitely message you in the DMs, because I need to get back talk with you. Yeah. So everybody, trust me as well. If you want to chat, like get in the DMs, or I'll have a chat with you as well there. If you've got any questions, any personal stuff you want to ask me. Yeah, so I'm going to be sending an email out very, very soon, and sharing with you all a Zoom, so we can actually look at each other face to face and chat and share two-way conversations, because that would be really good. And also share a beautiful, nice, lengthy transmission. And I've got some mandalas and codes I'd love to share with people as well, and show you. I'd love to share how we actually use them to activate them with like water and crystals and so forth, like that. To me, yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I'm gonna message you now actually, because I'm in the space, I'm in the zone, and I'm gonna get going. Yeah, namaste. Bye for now. I'll probably come back on maybe at some point through the weekend. And I should be going to Glastonbury too, so you might get a nice Glastonbury transmission, because I love it there. And it's calling me. Alright then, anyway, everyone have a beautiful day. If it's like morning, evening, night, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just, yeah, enjoy yourselves. Bye.